With the Kawasaki W800, the Japanese manufacturer has been offering a thoroughbred classic since 2011. The predecessor, the W650, even came on the market in 1999. We got our hands on a W800 built in 2022 and describe our driving impressions here. The Kawasaki W800 is visually based on the W models from the 60s and 70s. The special feature of this 48 horsepower machine is without a doubt its vertical shaft engine. Meanwhile, the W800 is the only motorcycle with this special camshaft drive that can still be purchased new. It costs €10,645 and is only available in one color in the current 2023 vintage, and this is called Metallic Slate Blue/Metallic Diablo Black. As you can easily see, everything about this machine is really retro. There is a lot of chrome, round headlights, two equally round and analog instruments, an elongated bench seat, two pea-shooter pots, bellows, and of course wire spoke wheels. If you were to say to a child, "Why don't you draw a motorcycle?" the result would certainly look like the W800, simply beautiful. The seat test on the W800 is exactly as you would expect from a classic. You sit upright and not too high, seat height 790 mm, and look at handlebars that are also not too wide. Men and women can get their feet safely on the ground, even if they are of a smaller stature. The passenger even has grab handles, of course also chrome-plated, and overall you just sit very casually and relaxed on this bike. The knee angle is okay, and there are even tank pads in series, just like in the past. Technology of the W800. We can keep this chapter very short. Apart from the legally required ABS, there are no other technical features on the W800. Kawasaki would probably have liked to leave out the ABS itself, but that's not allowed in Europe. Instead of technical refinements, we look at two analog instruments in a round watch style. There is a small LC display, but you can safely ignore it, because nothing is displayed except the time and the kilometers driven. Somewhat surprising, therefore, is the fact that the light at the front was realized with modern LED technology, but only for the headlight. Everything else is equipped with light bulbs, and especially the turn signals really look like from 1965, wonderful. There are no hazard lights, daytime running lights or other bells and whistles. The operation of the W800 is therefore also very relaxing. There is simply nothing to use, except when you have to honk your horn. The sound of the Kawasaki W800 is typical of a retro inline twin. It sounds British, and since there is also no crank pin offset or changed firing sequences, it sounds exactly like inline twins used to sound. And how does the Kawasaki W800 ride? Well, it's very classic. The engine produces 48 horsepower and at least 63 Nm at 6,000 RPM, so quite early. You shouldn't expect any performance explosions from the W800, but that wouldn't fit the character of this machine at all. Instead, you prefer to cruise smoothly through the area and enjoy motorcycling itself. In any case, you don't want to go fast with this bike. Therefore, it is only half as bad that the brakes of the W800 are, let's say, rather mediocre. There is only one disc with a 2-piston floating caliper at the front, and also at the rear. As expected, the chassis is rather soft. The conventional telescopic fork is not adjustable. With the stereo shock absorbers you can at least change the spring base. Although the W800 has quite short suspension travel, it is quite comfortable on the road. The 5-speed gearbox is well tuned, in any case we didn't miss a sixth gear. Conclusion, what we will not forget: no gear indicator, no fuel level indicator, no driving modes, no nothing at all. The Kawasaki W800 deliberately dispenses with everything that today's modern machines have on board in terms of technology. Is that bad? No, on the contrary. With a retro bike like the W800, that's just right. Instead of fiddling around in any menus, we just start the engine and drive off. Splendid. By the way, the W800 would have looked good on a Kickstarter somehow. Well, in everyday life, such a starter at the push of a button might be okay after all.